Hey, this is a letter to the Tolkien fans. I'm supposed to be finishing an assignment right now, but I watched a video essay thinking that it was going to be intelligent and well informed. I believe it was. Hang on, let me bring it up because it made me so upset that someone would be so misinformed. Where's it gone? Never mind, I clicked off of it. Oh, dang it. Hang on, it'll be in my history. It'll be in my history. So it's called Dear Fake Tolkien Fans, No One Cares. The thumbnail says Lord of the Karens. And I thought that it was, and my immediate thought was, oh, it's going to be addressing the people that are mad that there's black elves and black dwarves. But no. No, it came across as very gatekeepy, which I disagree with. So this is my response, if you will. So, dear Tolkien fans, elves can be black. It's not even specified if all of them had long hair, let alone fair skin, let alone light skin. He never said light skin, he just said fair. So, in relation to the skin color of the elves, although Tolkien said they had fair skin, this could be interpreted as describing their skin as beautiful, fairer than the rough, dirty skin of men. And when we look at Tolkien's characterization of people of color, one only has to do a few minutes of Googling to see that his non-white races of men are portrayed as evil or a servant of evil or subservient to evil or, prone to being under the control of evil and therefore evil. Yeah. And yes, this fits in with the hearts of men being weaker than most. And the Haradrim and Easterlings and Southerlings being close or under Mordor, we still have to question why it was only one story of an Easterling leader that was good. And I believe it was Ulfang. It was one of the Easterling leaders that served under Maedhros, I think. I can't remember specifically because it's been a hot minute since I read the Silmarillion or done any research on that. But I know that there is one story of one, and it was like unusual for them to break out of the pattern of being evil brutes, and actually do something good. So here I will quote to describe the appearance of Haradrim and the people of color that Tolkien wrote into his story. So the Haradrim were bold and grim men, fierce in despair. They were tall and dark-skinned with black hair and dark eyes, and for that they were called Swertings or swarthy men. I believe that's the Easterlings are largely called Swertings and swarthy men. So the men of Near Harad were brown-skinned with black hair and dark eyes, while the race known as half-trolls or Far Harad had black skin. So we have to question why in the canon that they were referred to as half-trolls when trolls are considered ugly monsters, And I think that I'm seeing the argument a lot of that Tolkien, Tolkien was born in Africa. How could he be racist? Well, first of all, he's born in South Africa, which is notorious for having a lot of racist white people in it, especially during the period that he was born there. Can we talk about that? And while I don't think that Tolkien was racist, I think that he was a product of his time. Like for the struggling to put this into words because I haven't written it down, but for the time that he was in and the levels of racism and ignorance and intolerance that were occurring, in contrast and comparison, he wasn't at all racist. But obviously, he was raised during that time, so some of it is going to leak through into his work, whether he meant it to or not. And I remember in one of his interviews, he mentioned that all of these races that he had created was some kind of aspect of, you have to draw on something real, you have to draw on something that you've experienced, some aspect of the human existence that you're pouring into a character and giving life to and representing pieces of yourself, because you are the well of inspiration that you're drawing from. So he he used that to describe the elves, I suppose, and the hobbits, in that there's aspects of us that want to live forever and sort of like fine tune our skills and spend time creating, spend eternity creating and making beautiful things and living for beauty. And then the hobbits are very much the aspect of Tolkien specifically, of like English comforts and just, you know, living life with like minimal stress and just absolutely anti-modern, anti-industrialization, all of that. Um, very much cottagecore, if you will. But yeah, and I think that when he created the races of men that were not white, there was some area of his perceptions of people of color that were a product of his time that leaked through, and therefore those aspects of Lord of the Rings are racist or prejudiced at the very least, but they are definitely to some degree quite racist. Argue with the wall. If you disagree with that, argue with the wall, because you can argue all day long that it is a fantasy universe and it has nothing to do with the politics of this world. But Tolkien himself said that in order to create something, you have to draw something out of yourself and use that, like pull that out of yourself and use that to create. So whatever you create, whether it be separate and uninspired by this world, it is inspired by this world because that's what you're creating it from, I'd also like to say that, yeah, one of the ring race is an Easterling named Kungu. So one of the ring race is a person of color. There you go, representation, guys. Another evil character. Yeah. And I've seen it said, I think, by one of my favorite Tolkien creators online, Elfboy Chris, that Peter Jackson had monopolized perception and interpretation of Lord of the Rings. And had Peter Jackson back then cast any people of color to play a member of the Fellowship, then it would be truth, and we would accept that as truth, and we would not be having this argument today. And because Peter Jackson had, had full control of our mainstream perception of the original material and how that would be interpreted and what those characters would look like, because he was in charge of casting, because he cast all white people. Tolkien didn't tell him to do that. He did that. And I'm not saying anything about Peter Jackson because I don't know where I was going with that part. But you can kind of get what I'm trying to say, that Peter Jackson, we're all accepting his interpretation as truth rather than drawing from the original source material. So, yeah. Okay, that is my argument for today. Elves can be black. Thank you. Period. Goodbye.